Hello again everyone and welcome back to BSRTV. It's round 9 of the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship with Engine Oils Direct. I'm Andrew Woodhouse. We saw a cracking couple of races so far tonight. Adam Bath and Alex Simpson are with me for the third time. Adam, your turn again mate this time. What a race we experienced just a few short minutes ago.
Yeah, what a whole evening of great racing we've seen. Race 1, a fantastic freeway battle for the lead, and now in race 2 we saw a safety car at the start, then we saw contact all the way through the race. A fair few bits of contact as well, including one huge incident in the battle for the lead. However, we've now got a reverse grid draw for the final race, and that's just going to set up for an equally as exciting race as well. So on pole position is Jay Wright. He finished 5 laps down in the end, but he should be given pole position. However, we saw tonight the organisers seem to be against us. Second place on the grid is David Brock. Third is Steve Walker. Fourth is Dan Blake. Fifth is Paul Smith. 6th Jim Flanagan. 7th John Roberts. 8th Eckhart von Glan. 9th Colin Steele, and in 10th is Elliot Stevens. Then it's Robert Plumley in 11th. He set the fastest lap of the race in race 2. Then in 12th it's Ben Palmer. 13th Laura Bond. 14th Robert Graham for Apex Racing TV. 15th Julian Janowski. 16th David Baker. 17th Dan Kraft. And then rounding out the top 20 it's Luis Silveira, Simon Field and Stephen Burke, all 3 of which disconnected during race 2. So the cars that finished at the back have been moved to the front thanks to the reverse grid.
David Baker's championship is shaping up very nicely, Alex, and the results from today, a win and a second place, can only do him good.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he could have asked for anything more. He managed to keep out of trouble. He was a little bit further back, of course, winning that first race, and bided his time and avoided all the accidents and got himself a great reward in second place there. So yeah, same again, I think, is what's on the agenda for him this time.
Speaking of accidents, Alex, the weather is clear in this race, so we don't have to worry about that really.
No, we're not going to see anything crazy into turn 1, so I don't think we could afford really for the organisers to have stuck a little curveball in there with this. The car might be great after 1 or 2 laps, but through those S's, could you just imagine that first lap with cars sliding all around?
2 teammates, Adam on the front row, Jay Wright and David Brock. It looks good for them. We'll see if it remains good. Sorry to cut you off as the red lights are on. And now the green light is on as well, and it's a great start from the second row. Steve Walker flying off the line, down towards turn 1. Let's see what happens. The 2 teammates covering him off slightly. Walker up the middle.
Oh, God, be careful, guys. So Jay Wright makes it through the first corner. Everyone else very clean. No big contact yet, but it is Jay Wright that's dropped down to second.
Contact there.
Safety car deployed. So, and just in that moment, Steve Walker had took the lead. Oh no, Jay Wright, I don't know what happened. Cars going everywhere. I don't know what on earth happened there. Jay Wright, all of a sudden the car just moved to the left and went flying into the Armco barrier.
That looks like a steering problem, but one of the cars behind him, Paul Smith, he ended up going into the wall as well. I don't know, was it just a reaction to that or what, but a disastrous start again, Adam. It's just these guys can't seem to keep their noses clean for more than a couple of corners.
The crazy thing, just looking at the replay now, Jay speared to the left, but he wasn't the only one as well. There was a Lugnuts car behind them that speared to the left. I'm not sure who that is, but they did exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Look. We got it on the replay?
Yeah, I wonder if you can tell me who that is in the Lugnuts car that's behind Jay. It's in about 4th place as they come up the hill.
Paul Smith, I believe.
Just see if we can get that back as well.
Very, very strange going on. I don't know how the car just loses it unless he lifted. The only thing I can think of is that he maybe lifted when he saw the yellow flag had come out.
He'd already gone at the top of the hill. His rear end was all over the place, and I think that might have been Colin Steele trying to avoid him as well. So, absolute carnage here at the third race.
Paul Smith in the fence. Well, I don't know what that was. I really don't. Such a strange incident. It was just a twitch, I think, from Smith. When the car went light at the top of the hill. Do we have time to see a replay of exactly what happened with the guys behind? The guys on the
yeah,
second corner.
Yeah, I've already I've caught that one as well, fortunately.
Yeah.
So
Colin Steele
It was Steele, wasn't it?
David
And then-
Baker as well, in a right mess out there. We were saying it was good for him, but yeah, car is crabbing all over the place. He's trying to get it back to the pits now, maybe see if he can get some repairs. There are a lot of people in the pits now, so even if David Baker can continue this next lap, he might well end up getting some reasonable positions. We're already down to 15th place on the track, but Baker does not look in good shape. I cannot believe his pit crew are going to let him back out here.
Colin Steele and John Roberts that got into that. We've seen John Roberts have quite a few accidents, it has to be said, in BSRTC over the last year or so. And then he gets into it, and unfortunately Ellis Stevens is caught up in that as well. And then behind them you've got, I think Graham avoids it. Let's just wind this forward a little bit. Yeah, Graham avoids it, and then the guys who don't avoid it, Plumley.
All these cars are about to go a lap down as well, still in the pits. Here
Oh
comes the
man,
safety car, so.
man, oh man. So, the casualty list, Plumley. Von Glan avoided it. Armour didn't.
Yeah, I'm looking
Laura
at in the
Bond
pits
didn't.
now, or retired already.
Right.
You've got Robert Graham, David Baker, Daniel Kraft, Steve Burke, Andrew Whitehead, Daniel Hunt, Gordon Wilson, Jay Wright, Paul Smith, John Roberts, Colin Steele, Ellis Stevens, Robert Plumley, and Simon Field. So I guess Simon Field out and potentially Baker out is not so bad for the championship. And I think there's a few more people just jumped in the pits as well.
I've gone a lap down, haven't they? Because they're going up the S's now.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of consolation for David Baker, knowing that Simon Field was out as well. But
I'm guessing there's only about 10 cars left that haven't got damage.
The cars are shown running.
Let's have a look at
11.
the back.
Walker's
11
running.
We got that 12.
Stevens, Steve Richardson still running in 12th and okay.
Pete Newman's in the pits, isn't he?
Let's have a look at the cars ahead of that. Slominski's still okay.
Some of these guys, if some of these guys can get out of the pits, Alex, a chance of still getting good points.
Result. Yeah.
Gordon Wilson, who's 21st and a lap down, is running at the back of this pack. So Wilson's still there, Richardson, Smolensky, Jones, Michael Jones up to 10th, Russell Laidler, Luis Silveira, Laura Bond's running. She was caught up in that, but she didn't really take any damage. Ben Palmer did get hit by a car, but I think, again, just some net code allowing him not to be damaged too badly. Maybe the front right's not looking too clever. Von Glan's completely unscathed. Dan Blake, likewise. David Brock, who's starting on the
Peter
front
Newman
row.
coming out. His car is in a mess,
Flanagan,
but
Walker.
it is driving forwards.
These guys, mate, they're going to get it. Well, that's the thing, boys. These guys are going to have to get out quickly.
That
Otherwise,
Ertas coming
Kraft-
out? Yeah,
Kraft's
Ertas is coming
out.
out as well.
Yeah,
Janowski as well.
They're going to be trundling around at the back, but they are only one lap down. These guys, the rest of them, they may have required repairs, Alex.
So Kraft's car seems okay.
So we've got 17 cars then, basically on the racetrack.
Safety
Robert
car,
Graham's
Adam.
coming out as well.
Safety car
He's
Adam
just
coming
leaving now.
through the final corner with its lights off. So even if those guys get out of the pits, they're not going to make it, well, possibly before the field comes round. We'll see.
Here we go then, back to green flag racing. After 2 laps behind the safety car here at Watkins Glen International, Steve Walker leads the field down. Very sedate here, no one trying to make a mess yet. Jim Flanagan 2nd, David Brock 3rd, Dan Blake 4th, Eckhart Von Glan 5th, Ben Palmer 6th, Laura Bond 7th, Luis Silveira 8th, Russell Laidler 9th and Michael Jones. That's the top 10.
And outside the top 10, Smolensky and Richardson, and that's pretty much it. Gordon Wilson is at the back of this pack. He's now up to 16th place.
I'm hearing someone hitting the
13th.
Arco already through my headset. I'm not sure who that was.
Yep, heard
David
it.
Brock.
David
Brock. Oh no, he's still in 3rd. Sorry about that, Alex. As we head down into the carousel.
You've been the Oculus 360 car of Luis Silveira. He's been hitting a lot of things today, and he's
Brock
might have
went
just
very, very wide through the carousel there. 2, 3
three
wide, now.
wide, maybe 4, coming to the second to last corner.
It could
Adam.
be 4.
Or Brock so down. Oh, bit of tyre smoke up in front. I don't know who that was. It might be one of the lower down cars that are a few laps down. But David Brock is now is down to 4th place with Flanagan in 2nd. And look at that. Is that one of the EOR cars going down the inside? I think that was Ben Palmer. Yes, it was. And that allows Eckhart von Glen, I think, to have a run as we head down the front straight.
Yeah, just these 10. These 10 are left now. Actually 11, isn't it? Richardson's got ahead of Michael Jones. Smolensky up to, sorry, it's 12, isn't it? 12 cars there on the lead lap. Gordon Wilson is now actually 13th. In fact, Pete Newman might be 13th. Difficult to tell.
But
anyway, seem to be struggling out there a little bit. Dropped a few places that lap. Yeah, even in the draft is falling back on these guys. So the damage that she's got, it's not going to do her any favours. Can't see her making any places in this race. Just needs to try and hold on.
Great day so far for Jim Flanagan and Dan Blake's team. Sorry, Adam, 2nd and 3rd at the moment.
And then Ben Palmer trying to get past David Brock as well. So Brock in 4th and Ben Palmer in 5th. Palmer looks to the inside, and look at that, nearly 3 wide in the background. It's one of the Oculus 360 cars. Louis Silvera trying to get past Laura Bond through the left-hander though.
It's actually Laura overtaking Silvera there, Adam, so making her way up. Slightly Silvera wide, sideways through the final corner. Just about avoids hitting the armco. That might allow Smolensky a chance to get 9th place from him. Smolensky already through. This is like the
Walker's off. I saw tyre smoke. Andrew, sorry to go across you, but there was tyre smoke. How did he end
up there?
I don't know what happened to the car. The car just speared across the inside grass.
Oh, he braked on the grass, Adam.
Just having a little look at the replay of that now. It's up on screen. Oh, you're right. Just had the grass there on the... Oh, dear.
He had it in his grasp, Alex, and it's so easy to do on that corner, isn't it? We've all done it.
You want to take as much of a wide line into that corner as you possibly can, but yeah, just took a 2 or 3 inches too much there, and
yeah, paid for it big time. But again, you brake in these cars, and the rear gets light as it is, so no chance of saving it at all. When he saved it in a way, he didn't spin the car, but he ended up face first into the tyre barrier. So Jim Flanagan leads the race with Dan Blake, his teammate, in 2nd place. Ben Palmer's 3rd now, I believe. He's got ahead of David Brock on the last lap. Brock's in 4th. 5th is Russell Laidler. 6th, Laura Bond. 7th for Smolensky. Von Glen was up in 6th, and he's down, I think, to possibly 8th or 9th. Silvera's 10th. He must have made a mistake in there as well. 11th for Richardson, who's dropping off this slightly. Michael Jones in his old rookie white car is in 12th.
Russell Laidler now trying to get past David Brock. You can see Flanagan, Blake and Palmer pulling away in the distance, and he wants a bit of that action, and he needs to get past David Brock as quickly as he can. And look at that, they're going to go 3 wide again, nearly down the back straight towards the carousel. Russell Laidler still in 5th, and he's dropping back a bit now from David Brock, but he looked like he was going to overtake them as the leaders are now starting to enter the traffic.
Lap traffic. Daniel Kraft needs to get out of the way here of these cars fighting for position. Andrew Whitehead, in fact, Kraft was actually, I think, fighting with Andrew Whitehead for position. But yeah, they need to make it easy for these guys to come through. Jim Flanagan in the lead then.
Brock and Laidler still side by side, but I think Laidler has got the position done now. Yes, he does. He sweeps in front of him.
Russell's through, almost a bit of contact. Laura almost ran into the back of David there as he braked for that final corner. But it's a big train now. Down the main straight, Laidler, David Brock having a little fight back here. Laura Bond. And that's Smolensky having a little look as well. One of the Engine Oil Direct cars going a bit wide. Von Glen, I believe, in his search to try and regain some of the lost positions. Von Glen in 8th place, doing a sterling job. What a race. It's like the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix. There's not many people left.
And only 2/10 of a second now separate Jim Flanagan and Dan Blake, Andrew, as we head down the back straight and in towards the carousel. Dan Blake and Jim Flanagan going at it. Blake round the outside, but surely he's going to have to go onto that tarmac runoff area. And now Blake is going to fall into the clutches in his EOR car. He's now going to be falling into the clutches of Ben Palmer. And
he needs to defend the inside line here, because you cannot go too wide on the outside. And if he tries it, he's going to come to grief. But actually, he lets him go. Very surprising. Dan Blake not really putting up any kind of fight that time on Ben Palmer. So we'll see if he can come back down the main straight into turn 1. In fact, he got a better exit than Palmer, Alex, down that across the start-finish line for the 8th time.
Yeah, let's just have a quick look, stick with this just to see if there's a move. Nothing coming this time, but
Behind
they're
there
very, very close.
Oh, and Daniel Kraft lost it into turn 1. Back marker in 15th place, 2 laps down. He won't score today. Gordon Wilson will, though. He's in 14th place. Julian Janowski's going around with a very, very damaged car. He's about 50 seconds off the lead, but he's still on the lead lap in 13th, Adam. He's that's pretty gutsy. He's managed to get that car out of the pits and still competitive, still on the scoreboard.
Yes, it is, and he might be in for a fair few points, even though
he's lapping all right as well. Sorry to cut across you again. 1:12.9. That's not really that bad at all.
Side by side here, one of the Elite 220 cars and David Brock. Yes, Smolensky in the Oculus 360 car as well.
Ooh.
Cuts across there. He was lucky that there wasn't an overlap, otherwise that would have been a bit of contact. As the Oculus 360 car there in 7th place, Luis Silveira tries to get past David Brock through the second to last corner. Brock's got a fair few connection issues on my screen anyway, but he's still in 6th place as we come round to complete another lap. He's now in the slipstream of the car in front. 5th place, that's Smolensky, and as we head down into turn 1, Silveira has a look down the inside of Brock. Will they be coming to grief? No, they won't. Brock holds onto his position for now, but Laura Bond can sense something happening here. She's across.
Oh, three cars in the walls. 4. And again, 4. Oh dear. Well, the last race was one of the best we've ever seen. This one has to be one of the worst.
Yeah,
awful driving all around, to be honest. Apart from the guys who kept their noses clean, but that was Silveira, Bond, and Brock. It just wasn't going to ever work, and I'm not really sure. Again, it's Silveira not giving someone the room, and David Brock maybe coming on at a sharpish angle. Alex, it seemed to just be that was very 50-50 one, unfortunately for Laura. She was just in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's just the nature of that turn 1. If you try and go that 3 wide there, it's not going to happen.
I don't think I was looking at initially, Adam. Sorry, I thought that was Silveira's fault. Maybe slightly it was. He didn't give much room, but David Brock came back on sharpish angle, didn't he? And I mean, what did you make of it?
Yeah, it was very unfortunate, especially for, I think it was either Smolensky or Bond who just got the end of it. I remember Bathurst last season, we had an amazing race 2 with a battle for the lead, and then in race 3 it was practically a free-for-all, where I remember, I think it was Stefan Hoog reversing back onto the track and causing all sorts of carnage.
We've got a battle for the lead, Adam.
Yes, we have, and it is Ben Palmer trying to get past Jim Flanagan into the carousel. We saw Dan Blake try to do this a few laps ago, and that didn't work, and Jim Flanagan manages to stop Ben Palmer from snatching that lead away. Both of these teams are likely to get their first win in race 3, and they're going to be going all out to try and get it. So 2 EOR cars passing for the lead, and Ben Palmer down the inside of Jim Flanagan. Will Flanagan hanging out around the outside? Yes, he does. Will they come to grief? Yes, they do!
A little bit of contact, but Flanagan's held it in there. He's going to actually go for the inside, late on the brakes, and flies through that last corner. And look at Dan Blake. He might get actually Ben Palmer as well down towards turn 1. We'll see as they dip down the hill into that very cambered, very tricky turn 1. Oh no,
he's going to get the lead.
He's gone wide.
Flanagan's gone wide, and that's going to allow Blake into the lead. Yes, it does. And Will Palmer following through. Yes, he does. They're going to be side by side through the S's. This is not going to end well, surely. Side by side, and Blake.
I tell you what, I don't know how there wasn't any contact there, because I swear I saw the front of Flanagan's car clip through the back of Dan Blake's car. I wonder, Alex, if these guys are thinking there's not many of us left. We might as well take each other out anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting as Ben Palmer goes for the inside. He actually, we've got a little accident further back. Is that back markers or? Oh no, it's not. That's Russell Laidlaw into the tyre wall, big time. What was that about? Let's have a very quick look at that as well.
There's still the battle for the lead rages as Blake's he's been hit by his teammate,
and he's off.
He's disaster.
Off. Blake's off through the gravel pit. He's going to carry on.
What is going on?
We'll jump to that one straight after this, but I have to say, Slomensky and Laidler there just got together, and yeah, poor old Russell Laidler.
I would like
as
a
we
sample.
look at this, I'm sorry, I'm just watching the replay back now of these guys. Just punts him from behind, doesn't he? Pushes him straight off the track.
I would love a sample of whatever drugs these guys have been taking.
You'd think Team EOR they'd have a better chance of winning with two cars being at the front, but obviously it's limited their chances with Ben Palmer now taking the lead. And in fact, Jim Flanagan's just clipped the wall on the exit of the S's. I think that might have caused terminal damage to his car, but it looks like he's carrying on okay.
Alex, you had your childhood in the early 90s. You probably weren't as high as this. What's going on?
Yeah, no.
This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But Ben Palmer, through all this, the man who was nowhere in the Peter Newman media car last year, had a change of team, had a change of fortune, and suddenly we've still got 5 laps to go of this madness. He's in the lead, Ben Palmer. He's done a fantastic job. He's one of the few, actually, that has. But he's still got front right damage. And we're going to see, they've got crumpled cars there. Jim Flanagan's car looks like a corrugated iron roof, and Dan Blake's doesn't look a lot better. After you can tell which one hit the other on that one. Smolensky, meanwhile, has got up from what was, I think, 12th at the restart to 4th, and he, unusually, is the one that's actually all the panels are straight on his gear optima, Alex.
I have to say, I think he's got a good chance of winning this one. I'm not sure Russell Laidler will be particularly happy about it if he does, because I'm pretty sure he'll feel like he did him a good one down that back straight there as they come together. So
was that contact between those two, was it?
Yeah, it was. It looked like Semensky just come across him just to the left there, but keep an eye on him. His car looks intact as he's going for a move around the outside of the carousel corner.
I was going to ask you, Alex, a proper racing question before all that nonsense came out. Can you pass around the outside of the carousel in a car with such low downforce as this?
I don't see any reason why you can't. If you carry the line and you've got the rotation in the car, I think it is possible.
And I think we saw a move happen around the outside today, Andrew. I think it might have been Pete Newman trying to go around the outside of someone, and it did work as the second, third and fourth are now bunching up. I think Jim Flanagan's nursing a problem after clipping the wall on the exit of the S's. That's allowing Blake.
His problem might have been that he hit Dan Blake up the bum and caused his teammate to go off into the gravel. I think that's what his real problem is. As he goes up the inside, and that's far too deep, he's never going to make it, is he?
Surely not, but he does. He goes across the runoff area. Be careful about coming back onto the track. We've seen enough incidents in that zone today, and thankfully he's a bit more careful, and that allows Jim Flanagan back through into second place. But this is costing them dearly because Ben Palmer's now got a 1.4 second lead.
Out of the draft as well, Adam, so Palmer may have well and truly escaped. And I wouldn't have thought, though, mate, that Smolensky would be fighting for a podium, Adam, but definitely he is here, and he's going to try and go around the outside. And I reckon if anybody can, it's Smolensky. No. 3 wide they go.
No, they're all going to take each other out.
Contact between teammates. There's going to be nobody left at the end. We could get some points, boys. Let's jump in the car.
Smolensky then trying to go 2 wide with is it Flanagan or is it Blake? I think it's Blake as they go into the penultimate corner. Blake going to shove it up back up the inside. He's going to hit him. Yes, they do.
Hit each other again.
But they carry on, and Smolensky's up into third place as we come round to start the penultimate lap here. Words cannot describe this third race, I think.
It was a good, pretty clean battle. I mean, there was contact, but it was more of the traditional Rubbins racing contact than all-out Armageddon that we've seen so far. We started, would you believe, Alex, with 29 cars. We now have only 9 that are eligible for championship points, and there's still 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, there's a few guys still in the pits as well, so we might get 14 cars across the line.
Absolute carnage here. But again, one man who's done a great job, 12th on the grid. In the lead, 2 seconds in front is Ben Palmer. Is anyone going to finish behind him? I'm not really sure if anybody's going to claim second place at this rate, but it looks like that Flanagan defending beautifully through the carousel. He doesn't have as much grip as Smolensky, but actually he's making it work. But can he hold the line, Adam, into this second to last corner?
It looks like he does. I think Smolensky still has a shot at winning this, Andrew. Last time around he was 1/10 of a second quicker. I'm so sorry, no.
He would have done. He just clobbered. This isn't good.
Yeah, Blake's
on the inside.
On the inside.
Bit of revenge.
Contact, and they both once again hold on. Rubbing's facing. But retaliation there. We've had it all tonight. retaliation there by Alexander Smolensky. How dare you?
That was a left jab and a right cross, I think. And this is descended into madness.
That was plain and clear right there, Alexander Smolensky. We're on the final lap now. What was the saying about him having a shot to win this race? He's definitely not got that now. Ben Palmer leads by 2.1 seconds, and he's going to take AMD's first win of the season. And well,
I thought the initial move, incidentally, by Smolensky was okay. By Dan Blake was okay. Bit of panel bashing, but again, I think that was all fair. But Adam, I mean, what's it going to mean to Ben Palmer? I mean, he's used to struggling around in the midfield, and he had a big change of fortune, like I say, in the middle of last season, and this is going to be a huge win for his career.
Yeah, of course, he's also out Peter Newman. That team really was running around at the back of the pack. Well, their fortunes have changed as well. Moved to Laser Tools last season, that got him into the midfield, and now he's gone to AMD, where he's now got a shot. Well, he is going to take his first win in the BSRTC. What a drive by him, and I think he's probably the only driver that's got a clean car at the end of this race.
Comes round the final corner, Ben Palmer crosses the line, and he takes what I believe is his first ever win in this series. Oh, and there's cars crashing after the line. That was a bit of afters, a bit of handbags between Blake and Smolensky. Flanagan takes an excellent second. Smolensky, I have to say, fantastic drive, Adam, up to third from 28th on the grid, as Richardson's going to come over.
Yeah, Steve Richardson, 27th to 5th. So the Elite 220 guys, they know how to avoid a wreck or two, and obviously they've got their cars inside.
I think Michael Jones is out of fuel.
Yes, it's coasting.
And
it's coasting.
He will. Now, Janowski is... Janowski's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to get a 7th place.
Is he going to run out of fuel? He's going at 57 kilometres per hour on my timeline. And yes, he is. He's definitely going to lose positions, Andrew. Here comes Janowski, and here comes Gordon Wilson. Michael Jones, will he make it across the line?
I think he'll make it. He will. Well, just about.
So he comes across the line in 8th position, Michael Jones.
It's still a terrific result for him, though. With a fastest lap of a 13.0. Sorry, that's wrong, actually, as well. But fastest lap of a 13.2, he's done exceptionally well.
So we've got 8 cars finishing on the lead lap, and they are Ben Palmer, Jim Flanagan, Alex Smolensky, Dan Blake, Steve Richardson, Eckhart von Glan, Julian Janowski, and Michael Jones. And then, well, the rest of the field that finished either one lap down or did not complete the race. Gordon Wilson in 9th.
He'll get points though, Adam, that's important.
Yeah, he finished one lap down, so he'll get points, unlike the rest of the field. So 10th on back. Let's just reel them off. Dan Kraft, Robert Graham, Stephen Burke, Andrew Whitehead, Russell Laidler, Laura Bond, David Brock, Louis Silvera, Pete Newman, Steve Walker, Halit Ertas, John Roberts, David Baker, Paul Smith, Jay Wright, Robert Plumley, Simon Field, Ellis Stevens, Colin Steele, and Dan Hunt.
Considering, gentlemen, that these drivers voted for this track to be in, you'd think they'd have driven it a little bit better in that final race, but Alex, that has to be one of the worst races we've seen probably since Zolder in the V8 supercars.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great race.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Pure gold entertainment value there. So I'm afraid you had to stop watching that in terms of the racing content and just for the comedy value there. Race
1 was practically gentle compared to that mayhem in Race 2 and Race 3.
I tell you who would be laughing though, despite all the comedy value, Ben Palmer has come and took his first ever win.
Talking about Ben Palmer, let's grab him nice and quickly, see if we can have a quick chat with him.
Ben Palmer joins us then in the commentary box. Ben Palmer driving for AMD and takes his first win and the first win for AMD. Ben Palmer, you avoided all the chaos going behind you. What was it like battling with the two EOR cars throughout that race?
Yeah, it was quite tricky. Start just trying to get through to the front. I managed to get into third, but it was just a nightmare trying to get into the lead. But when I managed to get into the lead, I had Dan and Jim behind me. Gave me quite a bit of pressure, but I managed to get a gap and keep the gap.
When you see all the cars flying into the air, hitting walls, coming back on, what the heck's going through your mind? Because I think at one point a car netcoded through you, am I right?
Yeah, a car was. I'm not too sure. Cars were everywhere. But I had a bad race in the second race. And no, was it the first race? First race. I had quite a good race in the second one. I just wanted to finish, the third race. But trying to get through the first lap is just mayhem.
I think it was Robert Plumley's car that was flying through the air and actually hit you. But great driving after that to keep your head and get through it. I mean, we're just talking about it. 8 cars only finished on the lead lap, and that's a record for all the wrong reasons. What do you think is going to happen? Was it a result of the reverse grid only, or was it a result of just everyone being a bit too aggressive here?
I think it was a bit of both. It definitely played off for me. But like sort of David Baker, it didn't really pay off for him. But I managed just to avoid all the collisions and finish. That's what I wanted to do.
Next week we head to Summit Point, a different challenge completely, or a similar style of racetrack?
I don't actually know what track that is, so we'll see. But I'm sure there'll be collisions there, and it should be good fun.
Summit Point's a little bit of the opposite of this track, isn't it? Tight and twisty in places. Ben, well done, mate. We're going to catch you next week, hopefully, and hopefully we'll see you back in here in the winner's circle.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Ben Palmer was 16th place coming into this race meeting in the championship standings, and I'm sure that victory will have vaulted him up probably into the top 10 in the standings due to the sheer amount of retirements that we had in that third and final race.
Definitely.
I'm not sure he's still going to be in the lead after that final race, but I would think so still, first and second for Dave Baker. But shall we see if we can have a quick word with Baker? He's probably...
Yeah, I think Dan Hunt didn't finish that race either, so he's had a terrible day.
But let's have David Baker join us then. David Baker joins us, and unfortunately for you, David, in that third and final race, it was all just carnage going into that first corner.
Yeah, it was a little bit of carnage. I think, sadly, it was Julian that hit me as he was braking to try and avoid it all, but, these things happen.
Your first 2 races, though, couldn't have gone any better in the first and the second. Especially with Dan Hunt having a horrible day. I believe he retired from nearly pretty much every race.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. Oh, that sucks on Dan's half.
You're, I mean, nobody likes to see that, but it's definitely helped you. And heading to Summit Point next week. I mean, is that a track you're looking forward to?
It's going to be an interesting track. I've not raced there in quite a while, but I mean, the races 1 and 2 here were absolutely epic. The battle with Graham towards the end of the first one was really, really good fun. And then trying to get past Laura in the second race, I mean, she put up one hell of a fight. 3 wide down the back straight at times and stuff like that. Couldn't ask for a better race.
Couple of good drives, especially the second race when you came through the field even further than in the first one. When all that's kicking off around you, how do you like compose? Yeah, keep it clean, compose yourself, and not make those mistakes that others are making.
I don't know. I think if I had the answers to that, I'd gladly share them with the rest of the guys. I think sometimes you got to back out. Sometimes you got to back out in it, and if some guys on the inside of you, some girls on the inside, you got to trust them, and stuff like that. And I think it's that that's sometimes missing. People try to push the battles that they know they can't win.
We're now at the halfway point of the season. We've got 3 more race meetings at Summit Point, Montreal, and then at Alton Park. Which 3 of those tracks are you most looking forward to?
Montreal's going to be interesting because I don't think we've ever gone there before. And then Alton, classic British track. I mean, you can't want a better finish for the BSRTC, really, can you?
Alton and touring cars. Alex, is 3 of your favourite? A couple of your favourite tracks there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I drove for Alton for a long time, so it'd be great to call some action from there.
I think we should shove you in the car, if I'm honest, for the last race.
Yeah, more than welcome. More merrier.
That would be some entertainment value, I tell you.
There you go. We'd have to. The incident camera would be all over the place, wouldn't it?
I'm sure I could do a driver's eye view camera broadcast thing for it for the event. So.
Well done, Dave. Anyway, good 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, I'll take those, guys. I'll take those. Cheers, anyway.
David Baker there, very cheery after getting involved in that incident in the third and final race. Shall we have a look back at what was that crazy first lap, Alex?
Definitely.
Yeah, let me see if I can get that up now.
Adam, just while Alex is finding that, I think Dave Baker, in all seriousness, is taking a big stride towards the title already.
Yeah, of course, because Dan Hunt, of course, didn't, and Simon Field didn't have the best of nights either. Simon Field was 2 points behind David Baker coming into this race meeting. So I'm sure the points gap is going to be quite a bit bigger as we head to Summit Point. Summit Point, I'm sure the drivers probably haven't raced there since the Mazda MX-5 days at the beginning of their iRacing careers. Just having a look at the collision once again, Alex. Oh, it's just...
I'm just having a quick look where Simon Field lost it. Looking at him now.
He was involved in the first one, I think.
Oh, yeah, he just had nowhere to go. There was like 5 cars all piled up. Who was that who nosedived? That must have been, I think, Colin Steele, one of the Apex TV cars, just drove straight into the sort of like pull-in area that's on the right-hand side.
So, yeah, Simon Field was just going along.
Oh, yeah, there he is. He's in the gap, isn't he?
Yeah, please don't hit me. And then, finally, one of the Apex Racing TV cars just clobbers him.
Right, let's take a look at that. Right, let's just pause that.
There was all sorts. The funny thing with that, actually, just looking at the Steele one,
let's have a look at Ellis.
That was a completely separate incident with Steele and John Roberts. Oh dear.
It's just because Ellis was a little bit further up ahead of Field. He got a little bit out of shape.
Ellis was in that nonsense with Steele and Roberts.
Oh, jeez. Who was that who took off as well? Someone did reach us up in the blimp, I think, there.
It's literally this incident is literally almost identical to one in a NASCAR Cup Series race a few years ago. I remember, I think it was David Reutemann. David Reutemann or something, and one car ended up flying into the catch fencing on the outside. That I advise you to have a look at it on YouTube, and you'll probably see the similarities between this one.
That one, luckily they're not real fans because that car went over the catch fence. It was John Roberts' car, I believe.
There's just nowhere for anyone to go. Let's have a look where Dan Hunt bought it.
Yes, and since iRacing put this track on, put Watkins Glen on iRacing, they have reprofiled the circuit a bit, so there is a bit more runoff area.
Oh, Dan Hunt's one is slightly unfortunate and also slightly comical, but I think it was his fault. He comes back on ahead of Gordon Wilson and actually give him the same treatment that Wilson gave everyone else in race 2.
We're a bit far away to see that. When we're up in the blimp, let's just jump back down again. Have a look at that one again.
Unfortunate for Hunt, but again he was a little bit eager. I wonder if he got distracted.
Oh, he got a whack. He got a whack from behind. Who's that sliding across in the Elite 220 car there? He hit who hit Hunt? I'm not sure, but
Hunt hits.
Oh,
Hunt hits the.
Yeah, you're right.
Gordon Wilson.
He just comes across to me, yeah, and then that's the Apex Racing TV car that nosedives the barrier.
He hits Colin Steele though as well, who's just sat there on his own, minding his own business, like with a knackered car. Goes on his roof. There's Hunt. My oh my. Reminds me of that IndyCar race, Alex, that we had that time. Oh no! Somebody came through. Paul Ellis was just driving very slowly off the track, and he still got a whack from someone who hit him on the way through. I don't know if you catch that one. That was an Apex car as well.
And I presume Jay Wright, we have to put that down to a problem with his steering wheel because the car just veers to the left.
I don't know, because the same thing happened to Paul Smith.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. So
could have been a steering issue.
I'm sticking with it just so we can see what you talked about here. So he's
just like, a little tap, but it's funny.
Sitting there in the middle. I have it. Just on the way past, I take that.
Then there's a Pete Newman media car in the fence on the other side. Good grief.
I'm not sure quite what Ellis is trying to do here as well. 3-point turn. Like, so you can't turn in the road using forward and reverse gears, please. You can't do
a spin turn in the front wheel drive car though. That's the problem he's got.
Let's have a look, because Slominski got an off track there as well. I guess he just let's have a look, see what happened to him. It was Slominski, I think, that knocked into.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Slominski who.
Hit Hunt.
I believe so. Yeah, it
So what
does
happened
into
with
the corner,
Smolenski?
and then got all out of shape. Slid up the inside, which actually meant that he got a slowdown penalty, which is why he avoided all of the carnage.
And
Did you see what happened on the way into the corner though?
Yeah.
How he was like 3 wide because he got a good start. The guy in front of him got a bad start, and the guy next to him got a better start. And I think trying to realising there was a car next to him, trying to avoid it, he comes right across. And yeah, he just breaks on the grass. It's the same problem as actually Steve Walker, isn't it?
But I bet you though he's thanking his lucky stars that happened, because it meant he had a decent distance back to the carnage that was going on in front of him, and he managed to get a second place as a result.
Got a slight whack, Walensky,
John
from
Roberts was in the
Laidler.
middle of that one as well. So yeah.
That Laidler pushed Smolenski onto the grass, and that was what happened. Smolenski did really well to avoid hitting anything.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think the race officials will have to look at Slominski's race in a bit of detail, because there's definitely some not happy drivers in the chat section as well at the moment. So with his progress there, so yeah, I think we'll have to be taking a quick look at.
Adam,
Right.
what do you make of the stuff with Dan Blake and Smolenski? Because I thought it was hard, but it was fair.
Yeah, I think the
Ish.
contact was a bit fair. I know Smolenski did retaliate in a bit of a forceful manner, but that's touring car racing, and that is it at the end of the day. And Alex, I've just had a look at Jay Wright's incident. I think, unfortunately, in lifting off for the safety car, that the car all of a sudden just swaps ends on him and sends him into the barriers.
Yep, yeah, sounds quite possible.
He had pole position, and he finished a good 11 laps further down than he did the first time. Bit unlucky for him, but so many incidents. I mean, we would honestly be here for a long, long time trying to piece this one together. But
what was the other one with there was like 3 or 4 cars? Laura Bond was in the middle of that coming out. I can't remember what lap that was. Is that it there? Lap 9 or lap 10?
lap
Let's just have a quick look, see if this is it here. That was I think
Yeah,
this,
the beginning of lap 10.
Brockens,
this
yeah,
might be
Silvera.
it. Yeah.
Brock, Silvera, Bond, and another Elite 20 car in there as well.
Oh,
That was
no.
Smolenski at the front, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just. Oh God.
What do you make of that? Because again, I think Silvera's good enough when he's racing in the midfield against, no disrespect to David, but a slower driver. He should give a bit more room. He's done that a couple of times now, hasn't he? And it's cost him.
Let's just have a look from focusing on Silvera here.
It didn't help for David Brock though that Laura was round the outside. I have to say that.
Yeah, there was nowhere for them to go then. They were always going to be a
David
bit.
did veer slightly right, didn't he? And just enough into Silvera. Oh, they just hit that little bit of bend switch. I'm not really sure why that's there.
That pokes out. Yeah, it's like a death trap. Surely that wouldn't be. Yeah, that must be reprofiled now. That's far too dangerous there. So. But
That
hey.
sort of incident can happen, can't it?
Oh yeah.
So easy to turn another car, and it hits the only. Because if they hit that bit of barricade further down, that's not going to be such a bad incident. So
It's quite funny. I've got obviously with my screen for like the off tracks and collision bookmarks. It's far too long
full.
on this one, I have to say. So. What have we got with Russell?
Oh yeah.
Is it Laidler as well? That was obviously another one. He wasn't particularly happy with that one, I'm sure.
Oh, Smolenski was it?
Yeah,
Smolenski and
let's
Laidler.
just take a look at this one, because I didn't quite catch it properly on the replay. I'm sure they're going down the straight now, side by side. Let's come up into the chopper, see if we can see.
Oh, because Laidler made a slight mess of the S's.
Take a look at that back again, back from the chopper, so I can see who it is moves over, which...
Then Adam Oh, it's Smolenski's been a bit silly there, Adam, I think.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
just looking at it now on screen.
Trying to squeeze Laidler when there was no need for it.
Yeah, so he's up the inside easily. You're right, he just moves over to the left and...
And Laidler moves slightly to the
to
right,
the right,
I must
exactly.
admit, but they both... It was definitely more... It was like 90% Smolenski, I think, on that one, because he's clear of him, isn't he? He's through.
Oh yeah, he was going to run straight through. He didn't need to worry about that. He could have just held the inside line there for the carousel. So yeah,
And then he hits the wall, he couldn't
I can
stop the
see
car.
why Russell's perhaps a little bit peeved with that one. But I have to say,
'cause
Russell
that's
did
twice.
move to the right just a fraction himself as well.
But he
You know, I
doesn't...
guess analysing it from a driver's point of view is he could have avoided that himself by just holding his line, but and expecting the worst
The only
from
thing
Slomensky there. But
the
yeah,
only
it's,
thing I
50
can think of, sorry, with that, is that they were both trying to squeeze each other, maybe? Is that a
Yeah,
possibility?
I think that's in the end. That's probably what it is. Slomensky wanted more of the track, so he did. You know, Lader wasn't going to come around the outside of him, and Lader wanted to keep him bundled in nice and tight so that he could go around there. So I think in the end, Russell moved just a little bit less than Slomensky. So yeah, but I have to say, I think when the admins look at it, they're going to call that one a racing incident. Sorry, Russell, you might not like that, but yeah, looking up from the chopper there, it looked like both guys moved. So even if one moved a little bit more than the other, I think the admins are just going to rule that a racing incident.
It's going to be interesting to see the penalty sheet going to Summit Point next week, and Summit Point, of course, a completely different racetrack to this one.
Might need a few pages, Adam.
Probably, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see when that's published next week.
I think Summit Point, Alex, I think... I mean, it depends which layout they're running, but if they're running the full course, it's still quite a challenge, isn't it? It's quite tricky. We saw it in GP260, I
It
believe.
is, and do you know what? After tonight's race, I fully expect somebody to fly across that hairpin into the other side of the track and cause chaos.
That sounds about right to me. And I think on that bombshell,
Yes,
gentlemen,
yes.
I think we should go. And we'll leave you with that image for another week. But I have to say, boys, it's been tremendous fun. We've seen the best and the worst tonight of BSRTC. But from all of us here, Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath and Alex Simpson, thanks for joining us. We'll be back this time next week with some more action from Summit Point. Enjoy the week, and we'll catch you then for some more British touring car action.